Well, hello again. I'm Elijah Robertson. This is Alex McElroy. As you know, this video is intended for parents who already have their child enrolled or one that is interested in enrolling their student. We just want to walk through our syllabus with you and just kind of go through the course content and what we're doing and where we're headed. Again, Alex and I believe that we are assisting you as a parent in your responsibility in educating your child. So you'll see that in the top of the syllabus, we just have some basic information, the class time and who we are, things like that. And what this class is, it is an introduction to Western literature. And so we're excited about that. Then you'll see we have a quick class description. And feel free to read through that as well, just kind of talking about what we're doing, where we're going. And we're excited to search out the glories of our God with your children through this God-intended medium. This God-designed literature. And it is a beautiful medium to search out His glories. Underneath that, you'll see our required text and what we're requiring for that. There will be probably few things your child has to buy, if anything. We are working on providing a small library, and I say a small library. It's not a library, but it's a large amount of books digitally. We can do this legally because it's for an educational purpose. We're still working on that. We believe it will come to fruition. But even if we don't, your child can find most of the selections that we have online, probably for free, or they could go to the library and get a copy. There might be one, maybe the novel they want to buy. But other than that, they shouldn't have to, and hopefully we'll be able to provide that library for your student.
Next, you'll see the required materials for this class, and the materials needed will be just a spiral-bound notebook and a 3-ring binder, some pencils and pens to write with, or alternatively, if your student would like to work digitally, they can bring a laptop or an iPad, a tablet, something like that. And then for age or grade, the only requirements that we have are just that they're a high school student. We are tailoring this class to fit wherever in the literature category you need this to fit for your student. And then as you look at the student expectations, you'll just see the studious attendance, consistently attending the class, participating in the discussions. And we're going to be utilizing more of a Socratic method where we discuss and go through everything together as a class. And so they're not going to want to miss any of those. They're going to be key to demonstrating competence in this class and learning to analyze. We're going to be growing a lot together as a class. And so they're not going to want to miss those. And then also you'll just see the assignments and the corrections that we'll be giving. They're just going to want to complete those intentionally because we want them not just to learn from those in this class, but to be able to use those and apply those in their life.
We'll be using an LMS called Google Classroom. Probably many of you have heard it, maybe even used it. And LMS just means Learning Management System. It is software that's developed to help us manage the class. So all of our posts will go there, all of our assignments will go there. We'll be utilizing the Google Docs format. So they'll complete assignments on Google Docs, submitted to us. That allows us to jump right onto the same doc that your student completed and turned in, and then we can mark those and we can return them for corrections. It just really simplifies and makes it efficient. So that's what we'll be using so that we can communicate with the students and give them all their assignments and things like that as well. If your child doesn't have a Google Gmail, it'd be good for them to have one, or they can use yours. I've had parents who've done that before, and that works great. So they give me their email, and then we invite them to that Google Classroom. You join it, and then you allow your student to use their Gmail to receive assignments and submit assignments and things like that. The next thing we want to look at is our class content, and that was weird. That was a really weird transition.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
All right, the next thing I look at is our class content objectives, right? Now, these are the objectives that we're committing to go over with your student. These are our goals of content that we plan to do in the class. You'll see there are 3 different categories. They're not going to be done sequentially. They will be done simultaneously, but we've just separated them so you can see and our students can see these are the major content areas that we're going to be learning and growing in this semester.
So the first content area will be the genres of Western literature. Now there's so many different genres, And there's no way that we could cover them all. They're covering thousands of years of history and all different kinds of writing. But we are just going to hit a few of the essential ones here. So I'm just going to go through those. We have short story, we have poetry, we have drama, essays, and novels. And novels are going to form what's going to be the final section for our students, where they're really going to do their final assignment and bring together all of the analysis that they've learned, the things they've learned in our discussions. And so for that, we are going to have a list of novels for students to choose from. And you as parents can look through that and help them make a selection. And that is where they're going to be doing their book review, not a book report, not just a summary of what's going on in the book, but where they're really going to analyze. They're going to read through it and really bring out some of the ideas and bring together what they've been learning in the course. And so that book list will be attached with the syllabus in this video. So you as parents can look through that and just see what you want or what you're comfortable with your child reading.
I'm kind of giving parents an idea of what we mean that we say they're doing a book review. Alex is about to go over what we call the process of reading well. And basically, they're going to show competency in completing each of these areas. So I actually want to hit those real quick. And so that's what they'll do in a book review. That's going to be like the culmination of the class. If they can show competency in doing these three things, we are going to go home smiling.
Yes, we've broken down the process of reading well into three basic stages. We have the anatomy of the content, and that is just going to be the bare bones, getting out on the table what is being said in this book. What is the content? We want students to know that content well, because if we don't get that on the table first, that is going to hinder us in trying to analyze, trying to understand the logic, or ultimately summarizing or giving the ideas of what's being said. The second stage is evaluating the message. And this is where we get into what is the logic that's being used by the author? Where is the author coming from? What are the messages and ideas that are being communicated in the text? And how do we analyze and look at those and go through them? And then the third stage is going to be defending your opinion. And this is where students they've gotten the bare bones, the content out on the table. They've looked through what are the ideas and messages being communicated by the author. And this is where they draw their conclusions and then defend those conclusions with evidence from the text. And this is where through writing or through speech, they bring out their opinion and then defend those opinions.
Can you imagine if you were building a house and you decided, I think before I put the foundation on, the structure and the walls, I'm going to just put the gutters on first. I mean, that's an absurd thought, right? Our last content area is thinking biblically. And if we're going to build and search out the glories of God as He intended, we can only do that based on reality. And reality is revealed to us, interestingly enough, in the form of literature. God chose the Bible to be the primary revelation of what reality is to us, to inform us cognitively. And that's found in His Word. So what we want to do as we walk through this whole class is instill, as best we know how, as much as we're able, how the Bible builds a foundation. It gives us a foundation for life. And how we then can take anything that we're coming across, we're looking at, we're analyzing, we're enjoying, and looking at, is this conform with reality? Does this honor God's revelation of what reality is, or does it reject it? So the last content area that we'll be walking through the whole class is thinking biblically. And that is that foundation upon which we build and know everything else. Our class will meet the Common Core standards. And we're not going to go through them. They're just listed here. You can look at them. They meet the Colorado state standards as well. So Colorado, I think back in 2010, decided to use the Common Core standards for reading and literature. And a lot of other states did as well.
And if you have any questions about those, you can feel free to let us know, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. The final section that we wanted to go through in the syllabus is the completion and the grading section. Now, one thing that Elijah and I are both passionate about is not just giving out a letter grade or a number out of 100 for students to have, but that they would really demonstrate competency and demonstrate that they have learned and have participated and have done the work. And so we will not be utilizing just a letter grade, but we'll be doing what's called competence-based learning, which is where students advance when they have demonstrated that they can do the content and have given the effort. And so that's going to look like we'll have assignments for the students. They'll need to complete the assignments, and when we give corrections, they will need to complete the corrections. And so we just wanted to be clear what that is going to look like. If we see that there's a student that is not participating or is not completing the assignments, or they're not doing the corrections that we have given, we will be just taking the student aside first and foremost and just talking with them. And if there's not a clear response to that, we will be speaking also with the student, with their parents, to talk with them as well. And then finally, after that, the student would be asked to withdraw from the class. If after those first two discussions there's still just not a response or just a turnaround, and we don't want that to happen with anybody, but we do just want to make that clear that what we are asking here is just that the student would fully participate, would invest in this course, would really seek to be productive, to complete the assignments, and really make an effort to learn and to think and to grow.
So that being said, completion is pass, right? And if you need in your state to give your child a letter grade, that's fine. You can look at their work. You can assume they got an A. As far as I'm concerned, if they do the work and they do the corrections, and we see they have competency, I would give them an A. You know, again, I'm not really. I've been a teacher too long and done so much of that. I'm not really into letter grades, but as far as I'm concerned, they did what they need to do. It's not about did they do it all completely right the first time. It's that did they grow? Did they learn? Are they competent? Last thing you see on there is a course calendar. And that way you can just kind of keep track of where we're at as we walk through this semester. All right, well, that's our course syllabus. Hope that was informative. We always have an open door policy, so if you have any other questions, write us, or as we're walking through the class, write us. Or email us. Let us know what you want to know. Be informed. We want you in the loop at all times. Lastly, just for payment, we use Venmo or Cash App, so you'll see on the screen just how you can send that to us. But we're excited about the class, and we're excited about just participating with you, and that we trust it will be eternal fruit. That's the biggest thing there, eternal fruit in not only your children's lives, but we know in ours as well. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, we'll look forward to seeing you guys soon.